Hi, everybody. I don't know who's all here. I'm going to give plenty of time for lots of people to jump right on in. We are celebrating my 1 year Booktube anniversary. So I don't know if there's anybody here in the comments yet. Not that I can see so far. However, I'm going to give people time because I am very, very excited for this very special Q&A. I do already have some questions that were on my community tab that I will go through those as well. But I'm also going to allow people to ask me live in the comments on whatever you feel like asking me. Like, I'm giving you free reign. Ask me anything. Get to know me. Get to know anything you want to know about me. Because we are celebrating, and I love celebrating. Hello. Hello. I'm so glad people are joining. And I am very excited for this because I think it was actually the beginning of January last year when I first started this channel. So this is my 1 year anniversary. I cannot believe it's been a whole year and I'm still going strong. And the way I'm celebrating at the moment, my fiance got Burger King. So we got food that we're celebrating with. So that is very exciting. And I do have lots of questions from my community tab for those who are now just joining that I'm going to be answering those questions. And you can also ask me questions right down in the comments if you want to. Anybody can ask me about pretty much anything. It's fair game here, folks. So I don't know if so I'll give a couple more minutes before I dive into the questions. Honestly, I was having a terrible day. It's 3 a.m. here and I couldn't sleep. Oh no. But it felt good to see your face. Aw, that's so sweet. That's so nice for you to say. I'm sorry for you that you're having a terrible day. Hopefully it gets better. I have had those days. For example, last week, I had a very hard day last week. But I am doing much better. So that's a good thing. And let's see. How's Ray doing? He's doing great. In fact, he should be out in just a moment if you want to see him.
What? Someone asked about.
In fact, here he is.
Hey everyone, Amanda, I'm very proud of you for this channel. I know you put a lot of work into it. You put a lot of work into what you've been doing and planning, and you've been very consistent with what you've been doing, and I'm very proud of you.
Aw, that's so sweet. I love you too. Hello, Amanda. Happy Booktube anniversary. Thank you. I've been subscribing to your channel for months now, but I have yet to see any of your videos. Well, I got plenty for you to check out whenever you feel like it. Thank you so much for being a subscriber. That means so much to me. Honestly, anybody who's a subscriber, I really, really appreciate because it really helps my channel that you stay subscribed. And any new subscribers would be amazing. Of course, I would never force anybody to do so if they don't want to. But if you're interested in any of my Booktube content, I would love for you to check it
out. Are we starting?
Heart. We'll start the questions in just a minute.
I have a question that's not even related to the Q&A. Does that
count? I don't know. Well, I did say it was fair game, so you pretty much asked any question. So in one more minute, I will start answering questions. I have stuff that was on my community tabs that I will answer those right now. And then I will also answer anything you put into the comments.
Or that I shout out.
Or that Ray shouts out if there's any lingering stuff in between. I'm glad you're all right now. I'll be asleep any minute, but believe me, I could watch you all night. Aw, that's so sweet. It really means a lot to hear you say that, so thank you. All right, it is 7:05, so I'm going to go ahead and start with the questions. And there's already one in the comments, so we'll start with that one. How do you feel about the rise of fantasy romance? Actually, I am glad you asked me that question because that is one of my absolute favorite genres. So I am very happy about the rise of romantasy because fantasy and romance are probably my two favorites right now. I am back into my romance era. If you have been following my Booktube content, I will be posting my February TBR probably soon. I don't know. I haven't filmed it yet.
By the weekend.
But hopefully by the weekend. I do want to get my TBR out there. I'll be doing lots of romance for February, and I do want to include a bunch of fantasy romance because that's my absolute favorite genre. And also, I have some questions that were on my community tab, so I'm going to pull those up on my phone.
Before you get to those,
yes,
I have a question that I've been waiting to ask you.
Oh, so Ray's got a question. Let's hear it.
Yes. So you're obviously, it's been quite a process for you with the YouTube channel, which is great. But what do you believe is the hardest aspect of it for you?
The hardest aspect of Booktube? That is a good question. But before I get into that, Nikki's popping in to say hey. So, hey, Nikki, glad you came to join. And let's see. Oh, yeah, back to Ray's question. He asked me, what's the hardest thing for Booktube for me? For me, it's probably making sure I put stuff out on a routine basis. Sometimes it really depends on his editing skills because sometimes I'm waiting on him to finish editing something so I could post it. Ray is my editor for those that don't know. So, and the best part is he knows what he's doing when it comes to video editing. However, I do not. So I rely on him for all that. So sometimes whenever he's available to do some editing for me, it really depends on his editing schedule. But other times I have to try and think of concepts for new videos. I do a lot of the same ones over and over again because that's what I'm used to. But trying to think of new concepts is probably the hardest part. So if anybody that watches my channel has any concept ideas they would love to see me do, please let me know because that would be awesome. Hey, Mike, is Jordan there with you? Jordan and I are so excited to watch. Well, I'm so glad you're here. For those that don't know, that's my sister's boyfriend joining in, and that's Jordan is my sister that he's talking about. So,
hey guys.
Give you guys a holla. They're all the way in Chicago, but I'm in Florida, so they're a lot of states away. And does Ray have any more questions before I get into the community tab?
How's the weather in Chicago? Sorry, Amanda.
Jordan is here too. Oh, good.
But the next question I would ask you is, where do you see yourself in another year? What is your ultimate goal for this next year?
My ultimate goal for this next year? That's a really good question. Let me think.
You can come back to my questions too, by the way.
My ultimate goal. I would love to see my channel grow. Not just in subscriber count, which would be awesome as well, but maybe watching my video concepts get better would be awesome because there's so many different video ideas that I have. I don't know how to narrow them down and do the specific ones. So I'm hoping in the next year I could kind of feel that out and hopefully get to a point where I am not scared to try new things and to just do it and not worry about it and not to put too much pressure on myself as well. Sometimes I put a lot of pressure on myself.
That truly, that's a hard thing when you're doing social media. You worry about how it's going to come out or
Yeah.
presentation of it all, but I think the best thing you can do, and I should be following my own advice right now, but just go ahead and do it. Because you got this.
Oh, we already have another question. Jordan is asking, why did you decide to create this channel? Great question. Um, Actually, I kind of had some ideas percolating in 2022. It was like it was like from the fall time going into the winter of 2022, because I was already starting to watch BookTube like probably in the year of 2022, and then I've seen so many people do all kinds of interesting things on BookTube, and then I found out my friend Dana um was watching this one girl and was subscribed to her Patreon. So I decided to join her and check and be on this Patreon for a while. And it was great. I made some friends, found a new community, and I'm like, maybe I should try doing the same thing. But I was a little scared to just dive right in. So I started watching more BookTube, looking into more videos, and my friend Dana started her own channel like the end of 2022. So I was like, if she can do it, why can't I? So I went ahead and posted my BookTube newbie tag, which is my first video on my channel for BookTube. I have other videos before that of me like singing along to music or karaoke and stuff, but I wanted to bring my channel into like a new direction, so to speak. And I'm sorry about the noise. That was a text. I did not mean to have everybody hear that. So sorry about that. But that was a great question.
So you would say that Dana inspired you to kind of start your own, to really gave you that encouragement to go on your own and do your own thing?
Pretty much.
Yeah. So it's really the sense of community that you get out of this more than anything else, I would get.
Yeah, like this community has been great. I've like connected with new booktubers, and I have a buddy read going on with another booktuber next month, and I'm part of like some Patreons, and I'm getting to know some other booktubers, and it's a really great community, and everyone really cheers on each other. Like no one puts anybody down, and I love that, because where I live, sometimes there's a lot of gossip and drama in my community that I try to stay clear of, and in finding BookTube, I found like nobody does any of that. Like everyone just loves each other, cheers everybody on, you know. And that's one of the things that I love most about being a part of this community. And let's see. Nikki says it really is a good community if you're surrounding yourself with the right people. That is very true, Nikki. And it was because of that community that I found you. So I'm so glad you're my friend, Nikki. And Nikki also submitted some questions. So I have her first one. Have you decided on a title for your book club yet? So for those that don't know, I started a fantasy book club like late 2023. I think it was, or was it like, actually it was September 2023. I think is when I actually officially started it. And it wasn't really getting that much traction, and to be honest, I don't think it's gotten much traction at all since then, to be honest. So I'm a little bit leery of continuing the book club. I do have a couple of books I would like to read that I would love to put in the book club, but with there not being much traction with it, I don't know if I still want to continue it, because I'm such a like relatively new channel. I don't know if this is the right time for it, as much as I want to continue it. So I'm really thinking long and hard about that. But I do have one book for March that I do want to read that I would love to have other people get involved in. So I don't know if anybody will. I'll see if there's any turnout for the live show, if there is.
What book?
For those who are wondering, the book I picked up for March. I haven't put out an official video on this yet, but I did pick out the newest Hafsa Faisal book, a Tempest in the Tea, or A Tempest in Tea, something like that, by Hafsa Faisal. And I was planning on reading that because I read Six of Crows by Lee Bardugo, and I heard this one is a lot like Six of Crows. So I think it would be really, really cool if we tried to read that for my book club for March. And I will see if there's a turnout at all for when I do the live show on that. I'm also going to be doing a live show on House of Flame and Shadow by Sarah J. Maas. For those that don't know, it just came out today, and it's like the third of a series that I am obsessed with. And let me show you this cover, because I just got it today from Barnes & Noble. And this is a stunning cover. And I cannot wait to dive into this. I'm currently rereading the second one, and I want to finish that before I dive into this. But this will definitely be my first book I read in the month of February. So you'll also see this in my February TBR video when I do put that out. So I am very much excited to get into this book. And then I want to do a live show on this the end of February. So I don't know if anybody will want to come join, but I haven't set a date for it yet. But it will be the end of February because I want to make sure everybody has time to read the book, because this is a chunker.
How many pages is it?
It is 835 pages. And this is a Barnes & Noble exclusive edition, so there's an extra scene in this book. So that gives it a few extra pages beyond the 835. In the second book, it has 801 pages. So this is a little bit longer. And I am very, very excited to dive into this book. And I don't know how long it's going to take me, but I did read her ACOTAR series in like a week. I absolutely loved it.
I was not a fan of.
Well, when it comes to ACOTAR, I almost DNF'd the first book. But thanks to Dana, my friend, she convinced me to continue the series, and I'm so glad I did because it gets so much better. So I am very, very excited. And Nikki said she's glad as well. Yay. Another question. Who was an author you loved from your childhood that you don't really hear people talking about anymore? That is a very good question, Turo. There are actually a couple. Anne M. Martin, the author of the Babysitters Club books. Absolutely loved those books as a kid, and nobody talks about them anymore. Also, another one, I was obsessed with the those historical diaries. I think it's like the Royal Diaries, and then it's like a spin-off of these books.
I like the American,
not the American Girl series, but I did like that series as well when I was a kid.
No, I was thinking of, I think you mentioned somewhere
like it's basically like a big, like they're all different authors, but they each write about it's like a young adult historical series.
Yeah.
Of all these different girls from different time periods, and it's like their diary entries. And I absolutely love those books. And I wish I saw more people talking about them because they're still great even now, I think. My favorite one was a Titanic one. Ooh, I want to read that. Oh, are you talking about A Tempest of Tea? Because that I am excited for that one. A little late, but hey Sam, glad you decided to join. That's definitely one I've been interested in. Cool, maybe you'll read with me. And he's saying, hey Sam. I started that today. Yay. I can't wait to hear all your thoughts. Hey, Nikki. Nora Roberts. Yes. I do love Nora Roberts. She is my all-time favorite author now. However, I was not reading her when I was a kid. I think I started Nora Roberts books when I was 14, actually, and I was a freshman in high school, and I accidentally stumbled upon one of her books. My English teacher in in ninth grade, she had like a small library of her own right behind her classroom. And I thought that was so cool. And she let anybody take out books from that little library of hers, and we would just return them when we were done. And so I picked up two books from from that little library that she had, and that was Private Scandals and I think it was Sanctuary. Yeah, I think those were my first two of hers, Sanctuary and Private Scandals. Absolutely freaking loved them. So I continued reading her ever since. So, Dear America is a series. Yes, that's the series I was thinking of, the Dear America books. I absolutely love those books. I still do. That is a kid. Well, I don't know. When I consider being a kid, I would be more like 10 years and younger. 14, I feel like, is a teenage year. So I wouldn't, that's a little bit different for me. Mrs. Schaefer. No, Mrs. Schaefer is not the teacher I'm talking about, but I did love her. Mrs. Schaefer was my teacher for 2nd grade, 4th grade, and 5th grade. My teacher from 9th grade that I was talking about, her name was Mrs. Ott. I believe she retired since I left high school, but she was awesome. Sunfire is a young adult historical romance series. Ooh, that sounds interesting. I might have to look that up. Thanks for your recommendation. And let's see. I do have more questions. And there's another one from Nikki. What plans do you have for your channel? Well, it depends on how the first few months go. I want to try out some different concept videos and see if those take, because I know there's some people that do a lot of the similar videos and they get really popular. And so I want to see if I do the same videos, if those also get that kind of popularity, and see how that goes before I try and put any stock into the rest of the year, because I don't want to put too much pressure on myself. I just want to relax, have fun with it, and maybe it'll just grow naturally on its own. That'd be great.
I think. Sorry for jumping in, but I think that's probably the right approach. Just take your time, enjoy what you're doing, and growth will come naturally.
That's true. I don't know if you guys can hear right. If you can't, let me know. I have an idea for a concept. You pick a book each month based off the cover color in rainbow ordered. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. That's not a bad idea, Jordan. I could definitely do something like that. I know I follow another booktuber. Her name is Bree from 4 Paws in a Book. I believe she did something just like that once. So I think that might not be a bad idea. What's the one book or series that reminds you of winter? That's a good question. Well, I just recently read a couple of wintry type books. One of which you'll see in my January wrap up. That was The Writing Retreat by Julia Bartz. It takes place in a pretty isolated setting for the most part, and they're surrounded by snow. And they're snowed in for a while at this retreat. So that kind of reminded me a little bit of winter. And then I also read a book called The Coldest Winter by Brittany C. Cherry. That's like I would say a new adult type romance. I mean, I think she meant it to be adult, but it read more like new adult. So, but it's not really. I think it's the title that reminded me of winter more than the actual plot of the book. But there is a point where they're going up to this cabin in the woods, so that kind of gave me like a little bit of that vibe, a little bit. But I'm sure there's more that I'm not thinking of right now. Oh yeah, there's Breathless by Amy McCulloch. I read it for Thrills and Chills. I think that was in December. And yes, that's very wintry because it takes place on a mountain and there's lots of snow and ice. Why is YA romance not as popular as adult romance? That's another good question, Terrell. You coming up with some good questions here.
Wait,
I might not even need to use my other
not
ones.
as popular, or which one's more popular, YA or adult?
Well, lately, adult romance has been taking Booktube by storm. That's why. YA romance has not been as popular lately.
I could offer a theory.
What's your theory?
I'm theory
interested.
Is like, as far as adult, like maybe that a lot more adults that are reading books, maybe they find that they can relate more to the adults that are in whatever relationships, because they're not like, young. YA is young adult, right?
Yeah,
So
YA is young adult.
Maybe the people that are reading the books just feel like they're closest to their age group in real life, maybe.
That's possible. Jordan says she prefers YA. I mean, she did gift me a couple of YA books. I read Eleanor and Park and really loved that book. And Jordan also gave me Fangirl as well by the same author. I haven't read it yet, but it's on my shelf. Let's see. All of us.
TBR coming up.
Yeah, I do want to read lots of romance in February, so who knows? Maybe if there's romance in Fangirl, I will definitely consider it. All of us who love YA romance and made it big back in the day are now adults reading adult romance. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I would probably say the same, actually. That would make more sense. Because as we get older, we probably want to gravitate towards books that are more towards our age group. So that does make sense. But I also do enjoy YA, even though, for those that don't know, I'm actually 33. Even though I don't look it, I already know. But I still enjoy YA books. So, because sometimes they remind me a little bit of my childhood. So I still gravitate towards those. Yeah, you're also a teacher. That's true. That is the best book, Eleanor and Park. Yes, it is very good. I actually let my mom borrow that book because I was down south and she wanted me to bring the book because she was interested in checking it out.
I wonder if she ever read
it. Happy Booktube anniversary. Thank you very much, Karina. So glad you made it.
Hi, Karina.
Ray says hi.
And everyone else.
For those that haven't heard, Ray is in the background and chiming in whenever he feels like it. But someone Terrell did give another question that I did not get to yet. How do you feel about millennials and older Gen Zers reading romance these days? I actually don't mind. I'm glad that more people are, no matter what your age group is, romance is ageless, in my opinion. Like, no matter what age you are, honestly, romance, everybody wants a little bit of it in their lives, no matter how old you are. So, that's how I feel. I think anybody should be able to read romance. It shouldn't matter how old you are. However, if you're a young adult reading adult books and you're not quite at the adult age yet, I would make sure you talk it over with your parents first, just to make sure they're okay with it. But other than that, I say go for it. Because, sometimes there's trigger warnings for some people. Karina says, hey, Ray. I did enjoy that book when I read it, but it's been a while since I've read it. LOL.
Which book?
Which one are you referring to, Nikki? Are you talking about Eleanor and Park or Fangirl or a different book that I'm not thinking of at the moment. The way I was not interested in romance growing up, and now it's one of my top read genres. Yes, I'm trying to gravitate more into more romance myself. So instead of just like fantasy romance or dark romance, do some regular stuff as well. I am the millennials, and I feel like it's no big deal. Yeah, for I agree with that sentiment. Nikki says hi, Karina. Oh, and Eleanor and Park, right? Yeah, I definitely. If you haven't read it in a while, I would definitely go for a reread because it's very good. And Karina says hi to Nikki. It'd be so cool if we could get Dana and Kehlani up in here. Don't know if they will, but we will see. I mean, there's plenty of time. And I don't know how long this is going to take, but I'll take as many questions as you give me. But I do have another question from Bex Reads. And she asked, what's your dream library look like? Well, take a look at Barnes & Noble. That's what I wish my library could be like. Never-ending books, like a cycle of them, over and over and over.
Like your apartment. It's almost like Barnes and Noble. The books keep coming in, and coming in.
Exactly.
And rarely do they go back out.
If I could, my whole apartment would be a bookstore. Because I love books that much. But if I could make my shelves turn into a Barnes and Noble store, that would be incredible. Except that I'm in a small apartment, so don't think that's going to end up happening. Oh, they're both busy tonight. That's too bad. Maybe they'll check it out later, which is okay too. What was your last 5-star read? Well, after our discussion on The Coldest Winter, my rating changed on that to a 4. And I will talk about that in my wrap up as well. But I think officially my last 5-star read was One Last Rainy Day by Kate Stewart. And for those that haven't seen, I did a Skygorathon vlog where I talked all about One Last Rainy Day and how much that gutted me. So yeah, that was my last 5-star. I haven't had a 5-star since. But then again, I'm almost done with my reread on House of Sky and Breath. And once I finish that, I'll be getting into House of Flame and Shadow. So Flame and Shadow would definitely be my first book of February because February 1st is literally 2 days away. So yeah. I have a lot to get to. If you wanted to get into our YA romance, can I please recommend Always Never Yours by Emily Wibberley and Osman Sigmund Broca. Their latest adult romance, The Breakup Tour, has just come out. I have heard about The Breakup Tour. I've also heard they also wrote The Roughest Draft, which I heard got good reviews as well. But I would definitely check that out. Thank you for your recommendation. If you haven't answered it yet, what are some of your favorite things about being in the Booktube community? You did miss a little bit about that, Karina, but that's okay. I'll refresh one more time. That I love most about the relationships that I've gained since being part of this community. I have become a patron in like 3 different Patreons, and I absolutely love that community and getting to know more people and just like the connections that I've made, including, of course, you, and hopefully many more to come because I want to just make more connections, more friends, and that's really what I'm here for. Not just, for the content, which I also do enjoy doing, but the relationships matter the most to me, I think.
If you were on an island and you could only bring one book with you, what book would that be?
That is a very hard question. So let me go over this question before I go into more comments. Because there's a lot of books that I would take on an island. And for those that didn't hear right, he asked if there was one book I would take on an island, what would I bring? And this is very hard because I like a lot of different books. But also, my favorite Nora Roberts book, probably Genuine Lies. Well, then there's Private Scandals. Well, those are my two favorites of hers, so I can't really decide between the two.
Only get one.
I don't know if I could do just one because that's such like
I guess you'd be sinking.
a hard one to decide. And I'm not going to be sinking, right? I am not sinking.
You only get one book.
Well, if I have to choose one, I guess it would have to be Genuine Lies by Nora Roberts because it gripped me from beginning to end. The mystery was great. It reminded me, like, it was just so good. And, like, it's about this woman named Eve where she gets this biographer named Julia to write her story. And she's like a Hollywood icon. So it's very similar to the book about Evelyn Hugo. Something about Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. It's very, very similar. But there's also a mystery involved. And all the people in Eve's life that she's known throughout her life, they don't want this book to be released. So they're all trying their darndest to make sure this book does not come out. And then there's all kinds of weird mystery things going on, and it's fascinating story. And there is a subplot of romance with her biographer Julia and her stepson. So I really love that book. So I definitely recommend it if you like mystery with a little bit of romance, for sure. And such a good 5-star read. Yes, it was. One Last Rainy Day is very much deserving of all the stars and tears. Yes, it certainly does. I love The Roughest Draft. I might have to check that out since you love it. Sorry I was late. That's so okay. No worries. Oh, this one. I agree. The friendships are a blessing. Yep, I sure agree. Oh, I love you too, Karina. And what are you currently reading? That's a very good question. Because, I mean, I've talked about this already, but because Max is just joining us, I will tell her. I am currently rereading House of Sky and Breath. I've read this much, and then there's like this little bit left. I've been trying to do immersive reading along with the audio. So I have the audiobook where I just need to finish this little bit. And then I will be moving on to House of Flame and Shadow right after that. I just got my copy today. And I am very excited about that.
Question for you.
Yes?
If you're ready.
Hold on one second. Oh, God, that brick. Yes, but I did the majority of it. So there's not that much left to go. I think I have a little bit over. Let me check. It will tell me on my phone how much I got left. I am currently 19 hours and 58 minutes into it. And there's a total of 27 hours and 44 minutes. So I'm getting there. So I have a little bit over 7 hours left. I think I can do it. I just gotta stop watching Booktube and actually finish it. Because I've been obsessed with watching people's Booktube videos and commenting every single time. So that's my problem. I just need to sit down and actually finish it. Now that CC3 is out, what's your next most anticipated read? Ooh, that's a good question. Well, there is one, actually, that I am definitely looking forward to. There's actually a lot coming out this year that I am very much interested in. Um, but I am very excited for the new Windy City series book. It comes out on my birthday this year. Excuse me. And that's June 11th. And that's the Liz Tomford, for those that don't know, is a romance writer. She does the Windy City series, and Mile High is the first one in the series, which I've read and really enjoyed. Second one is The Right Move. And the third one is Caught Up. I forgot to mention it in my best books of 2023, but Caught Up is one of my top favorites from that series. And then the fourth one comes out on my birthday, and I believe that was called Playing Along. I can't remember which character we are going to be following in that one. I think it's Rio, if I'm not mistaken. I really hope it is, because I think there's someone else before Rio, actually. What's his name? Isaac? I can't remember. But I'm very much excited to continue that series. I've been reading all those books on my Kindle. I've been buying the ebooks. So I'm very excited for it to come out on my birthday this year. That will be my birthday present to myself, because I cannot wait for that. If there's a popular author known for a specific genre that you would love to see cross over into a different genre, who would you pick and why? Ooh. That's a good question, because my favorite author already does that. So, for those that don't know, Nora Roberts also crosses over as J.D. Robb with the In Death series that she writes, which is like 58 something books into the series already, maybe 59 because a new one just came out. So, I don't know. Let's see. Let me think. Maybe Stephanie Garber? Because I really enjoy her Caraval series, as well as her Once Upon a Broken Heart series as well. I still need to finish that series. I still have not read A Curse for True Love, but I would love to see her do something a little bit different out of her norm and see what she would try. That's a good question. What a great birthday surprise. Yes, it definitely would be. I'm interested to see how I like book 4. Yes, I remember you weren't a fan of Caught Up, which I was very, very sad about. But hopefully you like the next book. What are your thoughts on formerly indie published books getting picked up by traditional publishers in the past year or so? That's a great question, actually, because I haven't seen a lot of indie books being traditionally published lately. I actually have an indie book that just recently got traditionally published, which is a Carissa Broadbent book. I think it was her Crowns of Nyaxia series. Yes, the first one. I got it when it was indie, before it was traditionally published. So it probably won't be the same like it used to be. But honestly, I don't know if I have many thoughts on that. Mostly because, I like that indie authors are getting more recognition. I do like that for them. But to me, it's really about me enjoying the books, not necessarily about how they're published. As long as they're good books, I'll recommend them. From my perspective, that is. And honestly, I just think of it that way. I don't really think of it as like of their being indie published or traditionally published. To me, as long as it's a good book, it's a good book. Like, I don't really think about that much. Ray is too funny. He makes me laugh on the daily. Even if he does frustrate me from time to time, because, not all relationships are perfect, but I love Ray. For those that don't know, we're actually coming up on our 6-year anniversary in May.
Is that true? Are you sure? Are you sure that I'm not a ghost? Just kidding.
Yeah, that's funny. But seriously, I still can't believe we're coming up on 6 years together, and then the month after that, we'll have been engaged for 3 years.
Whoa. Say it ain't so. Thanks for informing me. I'm just kidding, everyone.
Well, not everybody knows everything about us. That's why I'm doing this. Nikki says, wow, 6 years. Congrats, guys. Right?
Right? Thank you.
We appreciate that. I still can't believe it's been that long, honestly. It seems like just yesterday that we just met. And now we're coming up in 6 years. Like, where has the time gone? It seems like
it's been a journey, though.
Yeah.
To be fair.
We've been through a lot together, but we've also had some really great moments.
I would hope so.
I think not long after we first started dating is when we had a little thing where I went up to his apartment. Well, we had coffee downstairs. He made me coffee. And then I ended up going up to his apartment and we made pizza. And then we started dancing to Taylor Swift's I Knew You Were Trouble. And well, the rest is history. I still call him Trouble from time to time. Happy Booktube anniversary. Thank you so much. I'm very excited. And I think I still have some more questions in my community tab, so we will go to that. OMG, that's so sweet. Thanks. And I still have a bunch of questions from Nikki that is on my community tab, so we'll go to our next one. What are other hobbies you have outside of reading? That's a good question, because I do a lot of other things. Well, at least some other things. One of my favorites is watching a lot of reality television.
Oh boy. Here we go.
So, for those that don't know, I am very, very obsessed with, what should we call it?
Reality TV.
Oh, it is reality TV, but
You got Bachelor.
I guess you could call it a guilty pleasure, so to speak.
Yeah, you've got Bachelor Nation. That includes any Bachelor show.
Yeah, I'm part of Bachelor Nation, first and foremost. I have been obsessed. I have watched every single episode from every single season because it used to be my mom and I. It was our tradition that we would watch it together for years. And when I moved out to my own apartment, unfortunately, that tradition had to come to an end, sadly. But we still talk about the show from time to time because she stopped watching after I moved out. But I think she's starting to get back into it a little bit because she watched The Golden Bachelor. And so that's always fun talking about that. And so, yes, that's a very much a guilty pleasure of mine is The Bachelor, Bachelorette, Bachelor in Paradise, all those shows. I've even found The Bachelor Australia on YouTube. So I've also been watching that. And then I also am very much obsessed with cooking shows, especially anything with Gordon Ramsay. So I watch a lot of Hell's Kitchen, a lot of MasterChef Junior, Next Level Chef just started. His Food Stars show. I also love Chopped and Supermarket Sweep and all kinds of that stuff. And I also watch a lot of social experiments, especially on Netflix. For those that haven't seen it, The Circle. If you have not seen The Circle, you must. It's addicting, and every single episode there's a cliffhanger at the end. And it makes you have to keep going on and on and on. And it says it's going to be a new season coming. And I'm still waiting for that date.
Alert.
And I am obsessed with The Circle, and I really think we need to get that back again.
We just saw season 2 of Love on the Spectrum.
Oh, yeah, and we also just watched season 2 of Love on the Spectrum. And for those that haven't heard of that, it's on Netflix. It's about adults with autism trying to find romance for themselves, and it's such like the sweetest thing ever. I absolutely adore that show. And then there's another one similar to it called, uh, um, is it Down for Love or something like that? It's where adults with Down syndrome also look for love, and yeah, so I am very much obsessed with that as well, and lots of other shows. I mean, I could go on and on. I also love Law and Order Special Victims Unit and all that stuff.
Name that tune.
Name that tune. I love all the musical
Singer.
shows. Oh, The Masked Singer. For those that haven't watched The Masked Singer, March, new season. I am so there for it.
Voice.
And The Voice, yes. I know American Idol's coming back. I will try it. Except American Idol's not the same anymore. That was my mom and I's tradition too, but I haven't watched it in forever. You should catch up so we could totally gush about it. Gordon is my man. Yes, he is. I will watch anything that he is in. Oh yeah, and Kitchen Nightmares. You can't forget about Kitchen Nightmares. He came back with a new season this past year, and it's only 10 episodes, and I need more. Don't know what they're gonna do with that, but they need to.
Bar Rescue, you like that show?
Oh yeah, and Bar Rescue. I do love Bar Rescue and RuPaul's Drag Race. Definitely RuPaul's Drag Race. I need to catch up because I missed the last episode. And yes, cooking shows are so good, but Bobby Flay is my main man.
You also have part of an advocacy group.
Well, I haven't finished yet. I'm going through comments.
I'm trying to help. I'll slow down.
I'm trying to catch up with everybody. But I do like Bobby Flay. I have watched Be Bobby Flay. And there was another show that I watched. Oh yeah, Worst Cooks in America. That's also another good one, by the way. There's a new season going on currently. And Bobby Flay was also a part of that show for a few seasons. He's not anymore, but he did used to. What's your most anticipated book to screen adaptation of 2024? Ooh, that's a good question. Well, I did hear Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros is being made into a show for Amazon Prime. So I am very much ecstatic about that. So yes, I'm very much hoping that will. I don't know when that will be out in 2024. I'm guessing probably around the same time the next book releases. Most likely. I knew Nikki would gush about Gordon. He is number one lover. Oh yes, the Traitors. How could I forget about the Traitors? Thank you, Karina, for bringing that up. Okay, so I need to talk about the Traitors for a minute. So for those that don't know, the Traitors is a show that's on Peacock. It's a streaming service. Mostly, it's NBC does a lot of their shows on there.
It's because it's owned by NBC.
And well, thank you, Raymond, for that. And for those that don't know, it's a murder mystery mixed with reality, where they have normal people and celebrities. They are trying to eliminate contestants one by one. So they pick 3 traitors in the very beginning. The host Alan Cummings does. He picks the 3 traitors, and then he usually, what they do is the traitors try and knock out the faithful, and the faithful is the other contestants that are playing. And so the faithful are trying to pick out who the traitors are, while the traitors are trying to take them down one by one. And each challenge they do contributes money towards their big pot that they win in the end. If the faithfuls all win collectively together and they make it to the end, they get the money. However, if the traitors knock out the faithful and there's just traitors in the end, the traitors collect that whole pot of money. The faithful get nothing. And it's a fabulous show. There's season 2 going on right now. And there's also a UK version and an Australia version. And I have watched them all. I cannot wait for the next episode for season 2. It's so good. I'm almost done with season 1 on the finale. Nice. I can't wait to hear all your thoughts. Bobby has a show called Triple Threat, and it's really good too. I have heard about that show, and I saw it on Max. However, I didn't actually watch it yet, but it does sound interesting. And I do want to get to that. And I do have another hobby besides watching TV, because I don't want you all to think that's all I do is watch TV and read, of course. But I also do enjoy singing. Singing is also one of my pastimes. Um, I have been told before that I would be really good on The Voice, which I've auditioned for a few times. But unfortunately, they didn't want me, which is unfortunate. But all I can do is trudge forward. Um, I do still love to sing. It's one of my favorite things to do, and you can catch me singing on the regular. Sometimes just out of nowhere. I'll sing in the shower. I'll sing outside. I'll sing in my head. I'll sing out loud pretty much anytime, anywhere. um, and I like a lot of different kinds of music, so there's a wide variety of genres in that. So I definitely do a lot of that. Besides that, I sometimes go out, with friends. We'll go out and do stuff. I actually have, um, on February 11th, we actually are going to the Sound of Music at my downtown theater called the Henniger Center. It's like a It's a place that's it's like a theater basically, where they put on plays. And so my dad got me season tickets for my birthday for the whole season, going from last year going into this year. And so I have tickets for the Sound of Music. So me, Ray, and another friend of ours, we're going to go see it on the 11th, and I am very excited because I love plays and going to theater. It's so much fun. So that's one of my favorite things to do also. I love going to plays. And let's see. Nikki also asks, what's your go-to snack when reading? I don't really usually eat a lot while I'm reading, mostly because I don't want to get food on books. However, if I'm really, really hungry, I'll snack on popcorn, maybe chips and salsa. Those are my two favorite snacks. I used to have a sweet tooth. However, lately I have not wanted to eat sweet stuff so much. So I would mostly eat savory. I I had to go gluten free and dairy free in my diet because I've had reactions. So when that happened, it took me a little while, but it took me out of not wanting to eat sweets as much. It was hard at first adjusting to a new diet, but ever since I've gotten used to it, I don't crave it like I used to. So I don't really think about it. So even if Ray has like a bag of sweets in front of me, like M&Ms or gummy bears or something like that, I mean, I can eat gummy bears. There's no dairy in that. But let's say that he's dangling Reese's in front of me, or because he loves Reese's, and if I'm just not tempted. So I am very lucky to like not have that temptation in front of me anymore, because I used to be obsessed with Klondike bars. I used to buy them by like so many of them. I have lost a little weight just by not eating sweets. um yes, Nikki, we are talking about snackies. I was just saying how since my diet adjusted, I without eating gluten or dairy, I have not been wanting to eat sweets. So I've mostly been eating chips and salsa or popcorn. Sam says, yes, chips and queso for me or cookies. Ooh. Unfortunately, can't have queso anymore, but I'm glad you enjoy it. That's amazing. I'm too weak for sweet stuff. I also want to be able to drink coffee without creamer. Yeah. Actually, I have found substitutions. I have found really good substitutions, actually. There are some coffee creamers out there that are dairy free. Plus, there are some stores that now sell cold foam that are also gluten free, dairy free. And my Target has them. So I bought all three flavors. And Ray and I, we have been obsessed with them. I'm not supposed to be eating dairy or gluten as well. I love chocolate and chips and salsa. Well, you can find dairy-free chocolate. I believe I looked on Amazon once, and there's actually more than I thought. So there are some options out there. Just gotta look. Um, I sure can, Nikki. I will send you some pictures. I know Coffee Mate has a lot of gluten-free, dairy-free stuff, and International Delight might have a few. I know their International Delight cold foams are definitely gluten-free, dairy-free, so I recommend that for sure. Which random romantic series would you want to recommend to fans of Sarah J. Maas and Fourth Wing? Ooh, that's a good question. Ooh, okay, I got the perfect answer for that. Um, if you have not read it yet, I highly, highly recommend One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig. Very similar to Sarah J. Maas books, and it has that fantasy type world. And Fourth Wing, I mean, as far as I know, there's no dragons in One Dark Window. However, their magic system is very unique. Just like Fourth Wing has their unique magic system, One Dark Window has that as well. And so I still need to read the sequel, which is Two Twisted Crowns, and it's still on my shelf, waiting to be read. I'm hoping to get some more fantasy romance into my February TBR. So I will definitely make sure to get to that very soon, because One Dark Window is absolutely amazing. One of my favorite fantasy romances of 2023. What book are you picking up first in February? Oh, did you not? I must have you must have, because you came in late. Maybe you missed it. My first book, House of Flame and Shadow. Just picked it up today, and I am ecstatic to get into this. I just need to finish my reread of the second book, which I think I can handle it. I just need to stop watching Booktube just so I can finish it and get into that one. Which of these popular romance authors would you want to auto buy, read, like, recommend, or unhaul? Ooh, Emily Henry, Abby Jimenez, Tessa Bailey, Christina Lauren, or Allie Hazelwood? Okay, first of all, Abby Jimenez, auto buy. I read Part of Your World last year, one of my favorite romances of 2023. Absolutely amazing. And I have Yours Truly by her, which I still need to read. Love Abby Jimenez already, and I still need to read more of hers. Let's see, and I also recommend her as well. Tessa Bailey, I would not recommend. I would probably unhaul Tessa Bailey because I read Wreck the Halls, did not like it so much. I think I gave that 2 stars. It just wasn't good, unfortunately. Emily Henry, I've actually unhauled some of her books because I was just not interested in her. Allie Hazelwood, I liked her. I liked The Love Hypothesis. I DNF'd Love on the Brain. And then I decided not to read the book after that, which was Love Theoretically. I decided not to read it. However, Christina Lauren, I have read a bunch of hers, and actually, well, theirs, because Christina Lauren is technically 2 authors. So yes, I've read and enjoyed quite a few Christina Laurens. My favorite one is probably Dating You, Hating You. And it's such a great book. I definitely recommend that. And so if you haven't read Dating You, Hating You, I would definitely check that out. But yeah, those are some good authors in there. At least with Abby Jimenez and Christina Lauren. The other ones, maybe not as much. HOFAS is a chunker. Yes, it is very much a chunker. I am currently 100 pages in and loving it so far. Nice. I cannot wait to hear all your thoughts. Can't wait to hear your thoughts on Yours Truly. Yes, I cannot wait to get to that. I would love to get that into my February TBR because I'm wanting to focus on getting a lot of romance in my TBR for February. So hopefully I will get to that book because I do really want to read it. I absolutely loved Part of Your World. Got me right back into my romance era. And now I don't want to get out of it. So give me all the romance. Yours truly is so good. Great anxiety era. That's good to know. I definitely need to pick that up. OMG, yes. Yours truly fits so many prompts. Oh yeah, because for rom-com Swoonathon. For those that don't know, Karina and Nikki are co-hosts, along with Dana from Dana Ella and Kaylani from Kaylani Simply Me. They're all hosting this rom-com Swoonathon all throughout February. They have all kinds of activities, and they have a bingo board, and you can read all these. So you could cross off bingos anytime you read a book that fits the prompts. And then I think they have like giveaways for winners of the bingo. And then they're doing like movies and all kinds of fun stuff. So if you want to check out their channels, Karina has a bookstagram called She Dreams in Words. So I will go to Instagram to find her channel because she puts all her content on there. But Nikki, Dana, and Kaylani, all three of them have YouTube channels here where you can find their video announcements. And it sounds like a lot of fun. So I don't know if I'll be able to dedicate all my time to the whole thing. But I will definitely try and do as much as I can because I don't want to put too much pressure on myself to fulfill a whole bingo card and not be able to follow through on it. But I do want to participate as much as I can. So I would definitely, if you're interested in checking out their any of their stuff, make sure to find them because they have some really interesting stuff coming up for February. So definitely check them out. No problem. You're so sweet. I'm so excited for all the February things. Yes, me too. Plus, I know you guys didn't really enjoy that much a Cruel King by Rena Kent. I know you guys weren't crazy about it, but I might try and fit into my February TBR to see what I think. Because I bought the ebook and I wanted to at least try it. Because I know you guys were doing your own, like, Rena Kent read along, so to speak. So I do want to check it out at some point. Maybe I'll have different thoughts. I mean, we had drastically different thoughts for the most part on the coldest winter. So sometimes, it happens that way. And I do have some more questions. Yes, and I can't wait to share all my thoughts on Cruel King once I get to it. Hopefully, I will get to it in February. I am definitely hoping. And then Nikki also asked, if you weren't doing a fantasy book club, what type of book club would you do? That is a very good question. Because Dana and Nikki took over Thrills and Chills, which is thrillers. And then there's Karina, Nikki, Dana, and Kaylani doing romance. So I wouldn't want to overtake any of their genres because they're already doing them. So, that would be a hard decision for me because fantasy is completely separate from those genres. So I don't know what I would do. I mean, would it be bad to say romantic suspense because it combines the two? I don't know. Maybe a Nora Roberts book along because she puts out new books like clockwork every year. I don't know.
Hey, you have some personally signed Nora Roberts books?
I know. I do have some personally signed Nora Roberts books, as well as she actually personalized it to me, which you can see in my last book haul. And I got a new book by her in her in-depth series as J.D. Robb that was also signed and personalized, which you will see in my next book haul video. So yes, I will definitely get to it. We will send the physical copy to you if you love it. LOL. I will definitely let you know. Oh, here's a good question. What do you remember most about the golden age of Disney Channel in the 2000s, the first decade of the 21st century?
What
That
doesn't
is
she remember?
a great question. 'Cause I absolutely love Disney in like the late 90s, early 2000s, into the 2010s. Disney is not the same for me anymore. I completely stopped watching Disney, unfortunately, because it's just not how I remember it. It used to be so good. I was obsessed with Boy Meets World in like the late 90s, early 2000s, and like Lizzie McGuire, Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, all those original Disney Channel movies as well. I mean,
Impossible.
huh?
Impossible.
Oh yeah, Kim Possible. There's so many great ones from that time period. I can't remember them all off the top of my head, but there's a lot. And Disney had some great original movies from that time period as well, and a lot of great shows. I mean, there's so many. I couldn't list them all in one go, but I definitely remember that stuff and really loved it growing up. So definitely some of my favorites, but those are some of the highlights that I could think of at the moment. And I'm sure there's more that will come to me later on, like Xenon, yeah, zoom zoom zoom, make my heart go boom boom, my supernova girl. I love that song from that movie. I still sing it from time to time just for no reason. um, and I'm sure there's more. There's plenty of shows and movies from that time period that I absolutely loved. It's just unfortunate that Disney has gone downhill since then. I mean, not everyone will agree with me on that, but in my personal opinion, it's just not the same. I mean, when you're a child growing up in the 90s to early 2000s, I mean, it's hard to compare and contrast from then and now. It's just way different. So, yeah. If you're my age, you would definitely understand. Hey, Jordan. Thanks for stopping by. It's Jordan from Promise.
Oh, hey.
Ray says hey.
Welcome in.
She says she loves that Zoom Zoom song. Well, I don't know if you've ever seen it, Jordan, but Xenon, from the 21st century, that Disney Channel movie from like years ago. I don't know if you ever seen it, but it has that Zoom Zoom song in it. So check it out if you haven't seen it. And Jordan says, "Hey, Ray." Yeah, Ray's in the background chiming in whenever he feels like it. Nikki also submitted another question. What was the book that got you into reading? Which is a very good question. But first, Jordan says that she loves Xenon. Nice. um, the book that got me into reading. Well, that was so long ago. I've been reading for as long as I could possibly remember. Probably when I started wearing glasses, most likely, because I think I was 2 years old when I first got glasses, and I don't know how old I was when I started reading, but for as long as I can remember, I've always had a book in my hand. So I don't necessarily remember my very first book, but I did grow up loving the Babysitters Club books, for sure. Those are some of my absolute favorites growing up. Until the Dear America books came out, and then the Royal Diaries, and those are great books as well. Oh yeah, what's that book by Caroline B. Cooney? She had a couple of books that I also really enjoyed. Can't remember the names of them, but they were very good. And yeah, there's a lot of books from my childhood. Probably not remembering every single one, but those are the top ones that I remember the most. Question from Bex Reads: what's the best way to beat a reading slump in your opinion? That is a very good question because I was definitely in a reading slump last year. After August, going into September, that was a tough period because I just got finished with, I think it was September going into October. Because August was the readathon with Brie from Four Pots in the book. She did the amazing readathon where Dana picked all my books. And I crushed it. I did like over 20 something books. And then I went right into another readathon after that called Battleathon by Melanora Reads in September, which is very similar to like Fourth Wing. And I did pretty well with that. It was towards the end of the month though. I started to get slumpy because I read so much and I was just like, I don't feel like reading.
It was July into August, I think, that you and I read.
I'm talking about my reading slump period.
I know. I was thinking about this because I think I ended up in one before you did after we read Under the Whispering Door, remember?
Oh yeah, that's true. Ray and I both did I did a video on my channel of me and Ray talking about the book Under the Whispering Door by T.J. Klune. And if you haven't read it yet, please read it and then check out that video because
prepare for some.
There's a little bit of spoiler-ish stuff in there. So if you don't mind spoilers, feel free to check it out anytime. It was a great time. I love doing videos with Ray. He makes me laugh. I definitely need to get more videos with Ray in them. Because I know a lot of people love seeing Ray in my videos. Maybe that's what I need to do to get more people to watch, right? Get you on my videos more. Because people seem to love it when you do. So maybe we will. I'll keep that in mind because I remember some of those videos were pretty popular.
People will get sick of seeing me eventually.
I don't know if anyone will get sick of seeing you.
I don't know. Now we're just.
I don't get sick of seeing you, and I see you every day.
Now we're just being too gushy.
I have another question from Christina. She's a friend of mine that actually lives here at Promise and where I live. And she left me a question. She said, what is your favorite book that you've ever read? There's a lot of books that I've read. I don't know if I want to stick to my favorite author because I've already mentioned that one.
Too many times.
Way too many times. And I don't know what my favorite book I've ever read.
Would the books by Kate Stewart, would those be in your favorite?
One Last Rainy Day. That might actually be a new favorite of mine. One Last Rainy Day by Kate Stewart. That would be my new favorite book of all time. Oh yeah, I almost forgot about another one. Another favorite book. That Riley Sager book that I read last year that I absolutely loved and can't get enough of. The Only One Left. That's it. The Only One Left by Riley Sager. It's a thriller, and it reminded me very much of Verity by Colleen Hoover. So if you read Verity, I highly, highly recommend The Only One Left by Riley Sager. So, so good. Absolutely loved it. I really think everybody should read it. I shouted for the rooftops. Read it. It is so good. Nikki says, Ray coming in clutch with the Ravenhood. She says, Ray coming in clutch with the Ravenhood. Bringing up the Kate Stewart book.
Oh.
You helped me. You refreshed my memory on that one, so that was helpful. And so The Only One Left by Riley Sager and One Last Rainy Day by Kate Stewart will probably be my top 2 of all time. And then Nikki asked another question. Wow, Nikki, you came in with a bunch of questions here. What's the book you've been intimidated to read but want to?
Oh, that's easy to answer. It's crap.
Ray Ray knows this answer.
I know it, and as soon as you say it, I'm gonna kick myself because I can't think of the title. Something about trees? No.
You're close.
Something about
Should I tell you?
Yeah, because I'm not trying to think of it.
Yeah, he won't remember. It's The Priory of the Orange Tree.
That's right. And it's a prequel.
Samantha Shannon. Yes, Samantha Shannon's the author. The Priory of the Orange Tree. And I also don't know why I did this, but it was on sale on Amazon. And I bought the prequel, The Day of Fallen Night. And I haven't even finished Priory of the Orange Tree. So after I bought it, I'm like, what did I just do? I am 215 pages into Priory and put it down and never picked it back up. It's so intimidating. But, it's over 800 something pages. But then again, so is House of Flame and Shadow. And I'm more excited to read House of Flame and Shadow than Priory. So it's probably around the same amount of pages. Yeah, Priory of the Orange Tree is definitely probably the most intimidating. And The Day of Fallen Night, I don't know how many pages that book is. But yes, I'm very intimidated by those two books. Because they're not just, it's not fantasy romance. That's my thing. They're like high fantasy. And I don't normally read high fantasy. But they've been recommended so much that I feel I need to read it. And I have not done that. So I know I need to. I'm just very intimidated. Because high fantasy is not a normal fantasy genre for me. As much as I love fantasy, I just don't know. And I'm very worried and scared. And I don't know why I bought the prequel. But I haven't even read the first. So I don't know what's wrong with me. Verity is scary. That's the only book that's ever jump scared me. LOL. I actually really, really loved Verity. I didn't think it was scary for me, but everybody's definition of scary is very different. So I think the only one left might be Slightly Tamer, but still highly recommend. I've been wanting to read Priory for so long, but again, it's intimidating. LOL. Yes, it is so intimidating. I don't know why I decided to buy The Day of Fallen Night. I have no clue. I thought it was a good idea at the time. Now I'm like, maybe I should have read that book first. Now it's too late and I own them both, so at some point I'm gonna have to read it. Nikki with another question. How about that? What's a memory you have that surrounds your reading that brings you joy? That is a very good question. Oh, first we have Happily Ever April saying hi. Hello. So glad you decided to join. And feel free to ask me questions. Anything is fair game because we're celebrating up in here. And for those that don't know, I am celebrating with Burger King. Because chicken fries is my thing and I love chicken fries. But back to Nikki's question. A memory that I have that surrounds reading that brings me joy. Honestly, I don't have a specific memory, but I do remember reading a lot in in my elementary school years. My teachers were very encouraging when it comes to reading. So they loved that I was always reading and encouraged me to keep reading. So that's probably the thing that sticks most with me because my teachers were so they were just so encouraging and told me to never stop reading and obviously I'm still reading because I'm doing this. But I think that's really what they inspired me to keep going. So yeah, so I think that's pretty much my answer to that, because I don't really have a specific memory, but my teachers really helped push me. So I guess that's what I could say. You can eat it, we don't care, so it doesn't get too cold. Oh, it's all right. I can always heat it up if I want to. I'm not too worried about it. Which TV shows canceled so abruptly would you love to see have one more season to wrap up the story? That's a very good question. I mean, Hmm. Huh. There's a lot of shows I would love to see one more season of anything of. Um, I mean, huh. That's a very hard question to answer just because I can't remember of all the shows I like that were canceled. I mean, so that would be a hard question for me to answer. However, I could tell you shows that I would love to see have more seasons, even though I don't think it's ever going to happen. First of all, Lizzie McGuire was supposed to have a reboot. However, they decided to cancel the reboot, and I was very, very sad about that. So I would have loved to have seen that if it ever came to fruition, because I absolutely love Lizzie McGuire. The movie, excellent. I used to have the soundtrack. It was absolutely amazing. So I'm very sad we'll probably never get that reboot. But what are you gonna do about it? Let's see. Is there anything else I could think of? Well, technically the show already had a pretty decent wrap up, but then its spin-off also, well, I guess its spin-off also had a decent wrap up as well. But I'm so disappointed we'll never see it again. Boy Meets World. They had a spin-off called Girl Meets World with Corey and Topanga's daughter. And we still got to see some of them in that spin-off. However, I'm very sad it's over just because I really love Boy Meets World so much. And I did not want to see those characters go in any way, shape, or form. So it is kind of sad to not be able to watch them ever again. However, I will always go back and watch and rewatch episodes from that because they had a lot of great episodes and they touched on some really hard subjects. And I think I just related to that show so much. So I wish we could bring that back. However, I don't think that's ever going to happen. But that was a very good question. If I think of anything else, I will let you know. However, at the top of my head, I don't have any particular other ones. Well, let's see. Another question from Bex reads, what's been your favorite video that you've posted?
Good question.
Let's see. I have a lot of fun videos that I posted. I mean, I really do enjoy doing my TBR videos, especially the ones when I did my penguin cards. So for those who haven't been with me for that long, I made up these cards, they're prompt cards, but I called it the penguin deck of TBR because the beginning of last year, was when I first started doing the Don't Break the Ice game. And I used to have little prompts taped to the inside of the ice blocks, and I would use a little hammer to knock out the ice blocks. And if the penguin fell through the middle, Ray would have to go grab Ray would be the one to pick my book for me. No, if it was on my shelf or not on my shelf, it does not matter. However, I got tired of using the hammer so much and the noise that it made over and over and over again. And I don't think Ray had the greatest time editing that either because of all that noise. So I wanted to redo that a little bit. I mean, I would love to do a game board at some point. However, I don't have all the materials to do that, and I don't really have all the stuff I would like to do that for. So I decided to do a deck of cards with the prompts on it, and I call it the penguin deck because what I did was I wrote out cards that say penguin on it. So if I pull out a penguin card, then Ray gets to choose any book for me to read, no matter if it's on my shelf or not. And I would have to read the book that he chooses. And that happened, I think, once in my August TBR when Dana was picking my books. So Ray came in and picked Stillhouse Lake by Rachel Kane for me.
Oh yeah, I forgot about
and
that.
I actually really enjoyed that. However, I think I unhauled the physical copy because I think I'd rather continue the series in audio format. because I believe there's a lot of books in the series, and
Only
only
four,
4.
I think.
I don't know how many books are in the series. I mean, unfortunately, Rachel Kane. I don't think she's no longer with us, is she?
She passed. I can't remember why.
Unfortunately, she's no longer with us. But I really enjoyed Still House Lake, and I do want to continue the series at some point. So that was the one time I got a Penguin card that Ray got to pick a book for me. So I really enjoy using those cards because you never know if a Penguin card is going to show up. So I will be doing that again in my February TBR. So stay tuned for that video. I definitely enjoy doing my TBR videos. Um, and probably my book haul videos as well. Also, I really, really had a fun time when Ray picked out my books for me. When he just, like, I had my eyes closed, he had to choose all my books. That was July of last year, where I did July TBR with a twist, where Ray picked all the books I was to read for that month. I don't know if I got to all of them. I don't think I got to every single one. I think I got to a good portion of them. And that was a really fun thing to do. I might bring Ray back to do another one of those sometime. Let me know if you guys want to see Ray do another one of those videos, because that could be fun. That was a lot of fun. I think Scribd has them. I don't have Scribd anymore, but I'm sure I could find something. Sometimes I get to listen to audiobooks on Ray's Audible. So I'm sure we'll find them somehow, some way. I'm not too worried because I have so many books. Wait till you see my January book haul video when that comes out. Because you know how I said, for those who watched my video for my 2024 reading and channel goals, well, I did say in that video I wanted to cut down on my buying so many books. However, January, let's put it this way. That did not happen in the month of January. I have way too many books that I have gotten in the month of January. I mean, a few were gifted. However, I got a lot of them myself. And I really need to cut down on my book spending. It is not even funny. I am obsessed with books. I don't know if I'm more of a book collector than a book reader, but I need to read most of these books so I can knock them out, because it's getting crazy how much I am buying books and I'm not reading like a quarter of them. So yeah, that's a problem. Which I think most people probably have that similar kind of problem, but I need to cut down and be like, read my books that are on my shelf. So if you see me, when you see me do my January book haul, be like, you got way too many books, Amanda. You need to cut down. Because I know I need to, but there's so many good books that comes out. So it's really hard to not buy books a lot of the time. So I'm sure many of you have that issue because of all the good books. But, I try. It's going to be really tough because February, I need to cut back. Like, desperately. My last, I think House of Flame and Shadow will probably be my last major buy, at least. Because that was like $30 for that book. Even with my premium membership. So, yeah, I need to cut down majorly. So push me to read more off my shelf because I need to desperately. I have to head out to eat dinner, but I'll pop on later if you're still on. Well, hopefully I still will be. Depends on how many questions there are, but we will see. But thanks for stopping by. If I'm still around later when you're back, I hope you join in again. How do you feel about the downfall of Nickelodeon in recent years? And have you read Jeanette McCurdy's powerful tele-memoir, I'm Glad My Mom Died? Very, very good question. I have read I'm Glad My Mom Died. I think I mentioned it in one of my videos on my channel from last year. Yeah, I think it was last year. I can't remember what month that I read it in, but I did read it. It was definitely powerful. Um, I think it's the same thing for me with Disney and Nickelodeon. It is not the same of how it used to be. Because growing up in the 90s, early 2000s, those were amazing Nickelodeon shows. And now it's a new generation. There's new generations coming in all the time. So I'm sure they're trying to cater to that audience. But it's just not for me anymore. So I've kind of gravitated away from Disney and Nickelodeon in general. But Nickelodeon was amazing in the 90s and early 2000s. That was like my favorite time frame to watch Nickelodeon. I mean, they had some great game shows also. But like Legends of the Hidden Temple, Double Dare, Family Double Dare, Figure It Out. Those are some really great shows. I wish they would bring some of those other ones back. I mean, it's basically it's just not what it used to be, but
The CW tried to bring back Legends of the Hidden Temple.
Yeah, but remember we tried an episode and it just wasn't terrible. The same. We tried watching the new Legends of the Hidden Temple on the CW. It just was not the same. So yeah, I probably am not going to be watching Nickelodeon anymore, but doesn't mean other people might not enjoy it, just not for me anymore. Congratulations on the anniversary. I'm going to dip out and get some nighttime things done, but can't wait to watch this back later. Good night. Well, thank you for joining, Nikki. I'm so glad you were here.
Have a great night.
So I'm glad you were here. And there's only one more question that was left on my community tab. By Bex reads, what is something your younger self will be proud to know about you today? That is a great question. And probably, proud to know that I'm very successfully actually being able to be on my own is probably the best and yet hardest thing at the same time. I mean, I'm glad I mean, when I was growing up, I used to be like, can't wait till I'm 18, can't wait to be on my own, not have parents telling me what to do anymore. And now that I'm 33, I'm living on my own since 2018. I'm like, I miss being a kid. Can we go back? When I didn't have to have responsibilities. And it's hard because I'm like at least 2 hours away from some of my family, and then like several states away from my other family. So that's it's hard to be so far away from them because I don't get to see them nearly as much as I used to when I was living with them. And so I guess I'm proud enough to say that I am making it on my own. But it's a challenge. Each and every day is a new challenge. So I'm just doing the best that I can, and I'm proud to say that I'm doing it. So
go Panda!
And hey, I found the love of my life while I was here. So that always helps too.
Let's be very clear on this. In my opinion, I think I am the lucky one. So for what you have brought to me and bring to my life is, I don't know what I'd do without you, Panda Bear.
Aw, I don't know what I'd do without you either. And I love you. Even though we're getting a little sappy here.
Sorry about the sappiness. I know, nobody asked for it.
Another question. Speaking of Nickelodeon, I would definitely recommend The First Date Prophecy, a romance novel co-written by Nick Alum, Danny Tamborelli of Pete and Pete, and all that fame, and his real life wife. I did not know he had a book. I used to love Danny. I loved all that. That was one of my favorite shows on Nickelodeon. So I will have to check that out. Thank you for mentioning that. In fact, I might go look that up right now.
What are we looking up? I'm sorry.
The First Date Prophecy by Danny Tamborelli from All That. Because I did not know he even had a book. Eight. Thank you for that recommendation. I am adding that to my wish list right now. I might end up having to buy this on Thursday because I want to read this now. Because I absolutely loved him on All That. So I really appreciate that recommendation. It is being added to my wish list right now. All right. It is on the wish list. I definitely want to get that. So thank you so much for that recommendation. I cannot wait to pick up that book because Danny's so funny. I thought he was so funny. Also from All That, Lori Beth. She was hilarious. My sister and I, we used to share a room when we were kids, and we would stay up late at night when my mom thought we were sleeping, and we would literally go back and forth, me and my sister. Jordan, if you're still here, I'm sure you'll remember this. We would go back and forth mimicking her voice and saying the type of stuff that she would say like on the show. I can't remember some of the exact things that we said, but we had so much fun laughing and just speaking in Lori Beth's voice and like the stuff that she would say. Like we used to have so much fun, me and Jordan, when we did that. And I think Mom might have caught us once or twice and told us to go back to sleep. But yeah, it was such a great show. So yeah, it brings me back to my childhood a little bit. I don't know. That was all the questions I had in my community tab. However, if anyone else is still in the comments and wants to give me some more questions, feel free to add them. And because we have plenty of time, might go until I might go till 9 EST. It's 8:42 now, so I think we could make this a little bit longer if anybody else has any more questions.
All right, I have one.
Yeah?
Since you said you don't have any more there, right?
At current time.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If you could rewrite one book series, for whatever reason, what book series would it be?
Rewrite a book series.
Yeah, like if there was you didn't like how the book series turned out, or just there was something about a series you didn't like, what one would you rewrite?
You know what? I would probably rewrite Allie Hazelwood's Love on the Brain, because I DNF'd that book and I wasn't crazy about it. So I would probably deviate. I know she's more famous for writing romance books in the STEM universe. However, I'm good with just one book in the STEM universe. I don't know if I really want to keep reading a series stuck in the same world. I mean, if we were able to move on at least a little bit and do something kind of different with a different type of genre, still within romance, I would have been more interested. I just felt like it was repeated a little much, but I know the characters from it were all scientists in some way. I just wish we deviated a little bit and got some other stuff in there. So I would probably rewrite Love on the Brain and try and make it not so much focused on the science world and try and branch out a little bit. Yeah. And I probably will not read Love Theoretically for the same reason. That's probably just not for me. I know she's coming out with a paranormal romance called Bride. I watched Brief and 4 Paws in a Book read that book, and she did not like it. So that convinced me I don't think she's the right author for me because we have similar tastes in books for the most part. And I mean, I just don't think it's I just don't think Allie Hazel was the right author for me. I mean, I enjoy The Love Hypothesis, gave that 4 stars. Just don't think I'm really focused on continuing, unfortunately, with her writing. We do have a question.
Okay.
Would you rather be able to read only second chance romance for the rest of your life or read only childhood friends to lovers for the rest of your life? That's a good question. I think I would go with a second chance romance because there's a lot of different ways second chances can come around in different ways. However, the childhood friends to lovers can be a little bit repetitive if it continues like over and over and over because there's always usually the same plot lines as childhood friends to lovers. However, with second chance romance, you can do so many different things with second chances. I mean, I heard Before I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan is a really good second chance romance because it's already about they're already in a relationship. They're married and their relationship is in trouble. So that's a good example of another type of second chance romance. So I would probably rather go with second chance just because there's so many ways you can do it. But that's a good question. Um, did you have another question, Ray?
Which, if you could collaborate with any YouTuber, like your dream collaboration for YouTubers, or a person that does YouTube, Booktube, whatnot, who would that be?
Ooh, that's a good one. Because I watch a lot of booktubers, and some small, some big. But if we're focusing on the big ones, well,
and why?
I would probably go with I mean, she's been growing by the day from what I've seen. So her name's Ashlyn, and her husband Ian also has a booktube channel, and both of them are like he barely started his channel, and he gained such a big following and like not in a very short time with so many videos. He's over 9,000 subscribers already, and he doesn't have nearly as many videos as Ashlyn does yet. But Ashlyn is she's big. I think her. Let me see what her actual name is in here because I forgot what her username was. But I do want to mention her because she seems just the sweetest. Oh, Ashlyn Kaylee is her name. And let me show you her. Let me see if it'll focus. I don't know if it'll focus.
Might be better just to link her in the description.
Yeah, here you go. It's focusing now. Ashlyn Kaylee. That's how she spells her name. And she is up to 19.8K subscribers. So she's gaining popularity. And she is like the sweetest person. I am part of her Patreon, which her Patreon is rather new. But she's like so adorable. Her and her husband together are just the cutest. And I absolutely adore the both of them. And we have I have similar tastes in books to Ashlyn. She likes certain things that I probably wouldn't like, but she does have other books that we do have similar tastes in. So I would think it'd be so much fun to collaborate with her. And probably Jess from Honest Fiction as well. If I could get both of them at the same time, that would be amazing because Jess from Honest Fiction, she reads a lot of romance and fantasy romance, and she's also reading House of Flame and Shadow this month. And I think she would be so much fun to do a collab with as well because she just seems so nice. And like, I've been following her channel for quite a while now, and I think it'd be so much fun to do stuff with her and Ashlyn together. That would be like the dream team right there.
Gotcha. And what advice would you give people that are starting out on YouTube? Like, what things have you learned through your journey that you think people should know?
That is a good question, and I don't know if you heard right, but he asked, for those who are just starting out on Booktube, what kind of advice would you give? And I would say probably give it some time to really get started, because it's, as long as you put your dedication and you love what you do out there, I know the numbers are very, very hard to come by, but if you give it time, it will get there, because slowly but surely I am gaining some traction, at least a little. I know it'll take a while to get even bigger, but it's all about being patient and, just keep making those connections, watching Booktube and talking with more Booktubers, and, anyone who comments, talk to them and just really get to know your community as well. And so I know it's hard sometimes to be patient, but it will get there. It just takes a lot of time. I mean, it's been a year for me, and I think I'm at 321 subscribers. Let me check. Oh, I gained 2 subscribers since this. Cool. Well, that's awesome. 323 subscribers. Aw, I love you guys. So that's why I love this community, because, the more people that, jump in on my journey just makes it so much better. So I love that. And just, being patient is very, you get the people who really, chat with you and really get to know you and like join in on these lives and all the other bookish stuff. Like, it takes time, but once you get to know people, that also helps. So I think more people should do that, or at least when you're starting out.
Would you ever consider writing a book of your own?
That's a good question. For those that didn't hear, Ray asked me if I would consider writing my own book, and I have considered that. However, I don't think I have the time and patience to do it right now. I mean, I have written stuff on Wattpad like years ago, and I have not gone back to it. So I don't know if that's where my passion lies right now. I think probably singing and reading are my 2 main things, besides watching reality television. But maybe down the line if I get interested in writing again, but right now probably not. But we do have another question. Which books are you planning to read this Valentine's Day? Well, if you stay tuned, I will be putting up a February TBR video. So, over the weekend. I need to film it, hopefully either tomorrow or Thursday, because I have some filming to do this week. Because not only do I have my TBR to work on, I also have to do my January book haul and my January wrap up. So stay tuned for all 3 of those videos, because I will be talking about all the books that I have read, that I plan on reading for February, and all the good stuff and everything that I've been doing for the month of January. Just stay tuned is all I have to say. In honor of Black History Month, which diverse authors are you most excited to read? Well, Kennedy Ryan is definitely at the top of that list, because I have gotten some big recommendations from Kaylani from Kaylani Simply Me, and Karina, who was here earlier, and Nikki, who was here earlier, and Dana from Dana Ella. All 4 of them absolutely love Kennedy Ryan. And I have read her before, like years and years ago. Way before I even moved out on my own, like way before 2018. And so I really enjoyed reading her then. And now that I have a couple more books of hers, I wanted to continue reading some of hers, because I did like her books before. So I want to go back and read some of hers. Like Before I Let Go is one of hers. It's probably one of her most popular. And then I also have The Kingmaker by her, which I know is I'm not sure if it's a duology or a series, something like that, which was gifted to me by Dana. So thank you, Dana, if you're watching this. I can't wait to read it. But I really would like to get into those two books in February. I'm hoping to get those into my February TBR, depending on how the cards are dealt. So I am very much excited to get into those books. And we have 5 minutes. So we can do one more question. Does anybody else have any other questions before we go for the night? It's been a pleasure chatting with you and you. Here's to many more years on Booktube. Hope you have a good night. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. So thank you. Everyone who's been here, it's been a pleasure. But I do have time for one more. If Ray has any more questions, this will be the last one.
Maybe you've touched on this, maybe you haven't. And this is a bit of, it's not about books necessarily, but what movie are you excited for coming out this year?
Ooh, what movie am I excited for this year? That's a good question. I don't know if there's any one particular movie that I'm excited for.
How about your next favorite Starbucks drink?
Huh?
Do you have any Starbucks drinks that you know that might be coming out? Or
Oh yeah, for those that don't know me, I am a Starbucks addict. So I drink too much Starbucks sometimes. However, I do know that today a new drink dropped. I don't know if you've ever heard of Oleato, Oleato. Apparently, they started doing drinks with that in it. They won't put it in like coffee drinks, but they'll put it in the cold foam. Apparently, is what I was told.
What is it?
When I was there today. Oleato is like an extra virgin olive oil type substance.
Why won't they put it?
However, I tried a sample and it wasn't too bad. I really thought it was going to be gross, but it was not what I expected, so I might try it again. But for those that love Starbucks as much as I do, I would definitely at least try it once. Don't know if I'll drink it again, but we'll see. Maybe I'll try it as a sample another time. So we'll see. And we are almost at an end here. So I just want to thank everybody who was here. Thank you so much for being here. Oh, Christina's here. Hey, Christina. For those that don't know, Christina is one of my neighbors. She lives right downstairs. So I'm so glad you stopped by. So sweet of you. I'm doing great. Just celebrating our Booktube anniversary. 1 year, which is awesome. So I'm so glad you stopped by. I know you missed quite a bit, Christina, so if you want to, as soon as I end the live, you could go back and watch from the beginning if you want to hear all the questions and answers. Because I did answer your question. So if you want to go back and rewatch, you can definitely do that. So thank you for stopping by. And it was so much fun doing this with y'all. I love celebrating with all of you. And hopefully next year we'll have an even bigger audience. Who knows? We will see.
Are you going to do a giveaway at all in the future?
Okay, official last question. Ray wants to know if I'm going to do a giveaway soon. Well, how about this? If you guys can help me get to 400 subscribers, I will do a giveaway of an Amazon gift card. Amount to be determined.
And I will match hers if it will get us up to 500.
Wow. In case you didn't hear him, he said if we get to 500 subscribers, he will double that. He will match what I do.
And
So
trust me, we'll make it worth it.
So if you help me grow, there's a chance there could be some big bucks and Amazon gift cards coming your way, possibly.
A good amount. Let's put it that way.
Well, enough where you can buy a couple of books at least. So stay tuned.
Thank you. Amanda, you're doing a great job. In case people didn't hear me before,
So again,
you do great.
Thank you, Ray, for being here with me, and thank you to everyone else who's been here. So if you would like to see more bookish content from me, make sure you smash that subscribe button down below so you can keep up with all of the new videos that have coming out this year. And if you enjoyed doing this live along with me, make sure you hit that like button because that always helps my channel. And I would love to see this channel grow, so keep on keeping on, and I will see you all next time.